everyone, welcome back to Great Sports Debates. We're here for Week 9 versus the spread. Great week last week. You should be up about at least 7 units if you took all of our bets. We only missed on 2 games with Kansas City not coming through with us, as well as the Houston Texans. But everywhere across the board, teasers, picks, pro level, really great week. Let's jump right into Week 9 with Thursday Night Football. We have the Tennessee Titans at the Pittsburgh Steelers. This game's interesting. We all know I'm not a huge fan of Pittsburgh's offense. Tennessee, I'm not a huge fan of either. Will Levis looked good enough in the highlights I saw. He was smart enough to get the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. They're plus 2.5. I don't know if they quite get there. This could be a good option, though, in a game that I expect to be low scoring, where you boost Tennessee up to about 8.5 or so. Or maybe even a possible look at the under, which is sitting at a low number, 36.5. But I don't know how much either of these teams are going to score. So that could be 2 potential bets right off the bat on the first game of the week. Moving on, we got Miami at Kansas City. I think this is a close game. I put Miami 26 over Kansas City at 24. Miami is plus 2.5. I'd feel more comfortable with the tease to give them more than a touchdown cushion here, as this game could go either way, and in a high-scoring game, 2.5 is not a whole lot. Look to take Miami plus some additional points. All right, Minnesota at Atlanta. I got Minnesota 16 at Atlanta 20. It's really hard to say where Minnesota's going to be at without Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson. I really thought this would be a game Minnesota would win big if they had Kirk Cousins. But without him, it's kind of right where the line is at, about 4. I would either do an avoid, or I might even consider to tease up if you have another good game to pair it with, to get them to plus 10, as 10 points is going to be a lot of points in this game. I wouldn't do more than a unit there, as, again, I don't know how well Minnesota is going to do missing so many pieces. Next up, we got Seattle at Baltimore. I got it, Seattle 20, Baltimore 26. The line's 5.5, so probably an avoid here. I don't like Seattle, even if you plus up the points. I wouldn't tease the other way with Baltimore crossing 0. If I did anything, I'd lean Baltimore minus 5.5. I think it's going to be close to that range, or Baltimore might win by a little more. But probably best off is just an avoid. All right, for Bears versus Saints, I really like the Saints here. It's only minus 6.5. I think that they win by about 10. So you got good value there. You could also even tease it down to minus half a point, and you bet multiple units with another one of these good ones we talked about. So either way, I like Saints here. I expect them to win by about 10, and the line's minus 6.5. So good value there. Moving on, we got the Arizona Cardinals at Cleveland. I like Cleveland initially here. They got a good defense, but they don't score a lot, and you got a big number. It's sitting at 7 or 7.5, depending on where you look. I would lean Arizona's way, getting 7 points in a game like this. They've kept most of their games close. Cleveland is terrible at quarterback, and another one that could look good is I'd rather actually move the line Arizona's way and tease them up to about plus 13 as opposed to going Cleveland's way. I feel that's a lot safer bet. You're getting 13 or 13.5 points against a Cleveland team that's like half of like their best score all year. Next is Tampa Bay. I got them 16, Houston 20. The line's 2.5. This might be worthwhile to take Houston minus 2.5. We did get burned by them last week, so not one that I'm probably going to jump on. I also looked at the under here, but it's a pretty low number at 37.5. So I like Houston. I like the under. I'm not sure either one is enough value to bet, but that's where I would lean in that game. Next up, we got the Washington Commanders at New England. Again, Washington's a team that they burned us a couple times not coming through when they should, playing tough teams tough, and putting up a couple eggs against some weak teams. But I really feel like New England has to struggle to manufacture offense. I like Washington here 24-20, and with them getting 2.5 points, this is one that I'd probably bet taking the 2.5, or maybe even consider Washington on the money line if you want to bump that up a little bit, as opposed to taking 2.5, or even teasing it up to over a touchdown for a pretty safe game against a team that can't score a lot anyhow. All right, next up, I really like this game. We got the Rams at Green Bay. I got the Rams 24-20, and they're getting 2.5. So, again, this is one to definitely bet. You could go Rams money line. You could go Rams plus 2.5. You could go Rams and tease it up to 8.5 if you want a little bit of peace of mind. Just kind of where's your risk versus reward on winning versus the odds you're going to get on your money. But either way, one of those three options, go Rams for a unit. And if you tease it up, obviously you could probably bump that up to 2 or 3 units, depending on who you pair it with. We got Indy at Carolina. I'm going to go 27-23, 27-22, somewhere in that range. Indy's minus 2.5. I didn't bet this one, even though it looks like there's a few points of value there, because I don't really trust either team. I don't know that Indy's going to score 27, but their offense, they put up some good points most of the year so far, and Carolina has one of the worst defenses. Indy's defense is pretty bad too. That's right. See Carolina cracking over the 20 mark, which they don't do a whole lot. So probably an avoid for me, but if you're going to bet that, I'd be with Indy minus the 2.5. All right, next up we got a big matchup, Dallas at Philly. Philly's minus 3. I like Philly minus 3. I think they're going to win by at least 3. This game of note is not, it's locked out for whatever reason at Caesars right now. Maybe they're stuck on one side of the 3 and they're waiting for a while. You can get the Eagles minus 3 at MGM. So that's one to consider. I like some of the other bets better, but definitely I would consider a unit on Philly minus 3. I think it's a bad matchup for Dallas, where Philly's going to be able to run the ball on them. Also consider the number there is 46.5, so I think it's probably going to be over that. So maybe worth a unit there. All right, next up we got the G-Men at the Raiders. I don't like either of these teams. I think it's going to be low scoring, but the number's 38.5. So I don't know if it's going to be that low. I did do a unit on the under there, but like I said, that's a pretty small number. Raiders minus 2.5. Again, not a ton of value there. If you bet this game, I would look to do the under. All right, Sunday Night Football. We got the Buffalo Bills at Cincinnati. Cincinnati has been looking sharp. They had their best game of the year so far this week. It's looking like Joe Burrow was limited by his calf injury, so that team's clicking on all cylinders. Buffalo hasn't looked great. Their defense is bad. This might be one to check the over on. I got it at Buffalo 24, Cincinnati 27. The only thing I really would be comfortable with here is, if you got Buffalo getting +2 or +2.5, depending on where you look, maybe you tease that up and give them, a good 8-point window, and I'd probably be comfortable with that. And then finally, for Monday Night Football, we got the Chargers at the Jets. I really like this one. Just keep it simple with the straight. Chargers -2. I feel like there's a lot of value there. I picked the game 24-16, and I don't see a whole lot of scenarios where Chargers don't win by a field goal here. So I really like that game. That's probably one of my favorite bets of the week. But moving on to the buys, we got Detroit, San Francisco, Denver, and Jacksonville on the bye this week. So that wraps everything up for the picks. Let me know in the comments section who you think we missed, what bets you got questions on. As always, like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.